Hey guys, it's Mike from iLikeBatteries, and happy 2025. So one of the things we said on the show and our podcast, so Jeff and I have had, this is really exciting because we're moving into a new kind of venue. I mean, it's 5 years that we've done the podcast, over 200 episodes, and we've done a little bit of content on YouTube. But one of the things a lot of you have written, and thank you for everyone who has, is you want us to be like, hey, what does the battery shed that you're talking about look like? So today I'm in the battery shed. Took a little bit to get it up to a temperature where I could actually do a little bit more in here because it is fairly cold outside. We had some snow in New Hampshire yesterday, and today it was pretty cold with some snow out there. So got the battery shed going. Today, what I want to do is just give you a little bit of tour of what it is, talk about the products that I use in the shed to kind of keep that off-grid office going, and give you a little bit more about hopefully what we're going to be doing in 2025. Okay, so what is the battery shed? And a little bit about this. So the battery shed, for those of you that have been listening to the show, I started creating probably about 2021. Essentially, built it all myself. Um, a lot of the lumber that I got, it's all like a bunch of shiplap here. I'm touching it over the side. You can't see. In fact, I guess I could turn so you can see it there. A nice little blackboard there. But if we look, a lot of it was culling lumber that I got from Home Depot. Built the platform, put some wheels on it because it needed to be portable for me to move around kind of the backyard, and insulated it pretty well. Did insulation in the floor, insulation behind here. Built it out pretty well. Size wise, had some questions on it. It's 6 by 8, so it's not very big, about 48 square feet. Pitched roof as we have with it. And then I creatively use the wall space, and you can kind of see behind me, I've got a lot of whiteboard that I actually built into the walls. And I have some whiteboard that's directly in front of me here, and some chalkboard that you just got to see. So integrated a lot of those pieces into the battery shed. Once I had it up and kind of running, the other big challenge for me, and I've done over the course of probably the multiple years that I've had this, was heating and cooling. So I tried a couple different types of things in here. I had some small heaters. In fact, I'm gonna grab the one right here that I had for a while. Um, this is like a little Honeywell heater, and if you look at this, it has like a high, medium, and low setting. And what I'll do is I'll plug this in actually, so you can see this. I'm gonna plug it in to my River. It's my River 2 actually, and I'll kind of put it on the counter here. Plug this in, and we'll turn her on. And so I'll run this right now on high. We got that kind of going. You see red lights coming on. This is what I initially used. This did not cut the mustard. It really just didn't do that. It was probably good enough that right now I can put my hand in front of it. And I'll tell you why. The reason why when we look at this, these are made for like if you're in an office and you're sitting there, you want a little bit of heat. It is not something that's going to warm these 48 square feet. If you look at this, I'm going to show you right now my location. There we go. So sorry, 32 degrees. That's probably right now in the evening. We've got this going, and it's definitely something that's a little bit colder when we look at these type of things. Um, when we look now here on high, if you look, you can see it back here, and you can't see it 100%. We're at 230 watts. It's pulling right now. So for my EcoFlow, it's pretty good. I mean, I get a nice little heat if I want to warm my hands. I'm going to put it on low, just so we can check out what the low setting does. And it drops down to 106, 107. I will tell you, this works great now that I have the shed up to a temp. Okay, so I used a little bit of combination here. If you look right here, this is a hydronic heater. Actually, Jeff, who's the co-host for iLikeBatteries, was no longer using it. He dropped it off, and I have it here. That hydronic heater has 3 different settings. It has a low, medium, and high. On the low setting, I can get about 700 watts, 890 on the medium, and it goes all the way up to 1400. So I need to use my Delta Max if I'm going to be able to run it on the high setting. I have found that if I put my setting on something around 15 to 20 minutes, that hydronic heater will heat up. Now, I shut it down because I didn't want as much noise in the background. There might be some noise you're hearing from this. Like I said, 144 watts now. This would be great if it was heating my feet. I was able to get the shed right now. If you're able to see, we'll take a look. We have 42% humidity, 62.2 degrees. Personally, I'm comfortable in here. I'm comfortable enough to do some work. If I have this on to be able to do some things, I'm going to shut it off and just be able to place it over here, away from things. The hydronic heater I did have on it. The nice part about these hydronic heaters is once you get them up to temp, it's been off for probably 15, 20 minutes. I have a nice amount of heat that's still coming off this. Like, not so much that I'm burning my hand putting on top of it, but I'm getting some warmth. So it tends to keep the shed warm after I have it on. The other thing that you will see that is right behind me, and this is just something, if you've been listening to the show, that I picked up this year. I picked up this summer, and it was awesome for cooling, but it's definitely awesome for heating, is the Wave 2. So this is the EcoFlow Wave 2. You see the tubes kind of coming out. I actually don't put it outside for the cold air because I find that if I have to do that, either through my window that I have here or something else, it does not work very well and it lets too much in. The other thing I found out after I got this is the EcoFlow Wave 2 really needs to be about 41 degrees or better to be successful in giving some good heating. So my strategy for the battery shed that I've got to be able to get it warm on a day like this, I think when I came in this morning, it was 26 degrees in here, is that I get the hydronic heater going, okay, using it on usually the low setting. I could run it with the EcoFlow Delta for probably half hour, gets it nicely up into the 40s, maybe 45, 46, and then I let the Wave 2 do the work. Now, my Wave 2 usually is going through my EcoFlow River 2 Pro, if I'm looking at that, because it's able to give about 800 watts off that inverter, has a good amount of time to be able to do that. It's also great because what I will do is I'll have my solar panels, which are outside, going and kind of feeding both of these at the same time. Usually around here, I get about 6 o'clock in the morning, sun comes up. I have them placed in different spots to be able to be giving me some power. Now, a day like today, actually recording this on a day off from my work, so I was able to operate all of those through the EcoFlow app from inside the house. So that was helpful. In terms of lighting, what we have, I mean, I think I'm lit pretty well. I could probably have done a little bit better job, but I've got some good lighting here. What I actually use is the Now Light. Now, unfortunately, we did interview, I shouldn't say unfortunately, interview Deciwatt. We did have a great interview with Deciwatt early on the show, so feel free to go back and check that out on the podcast. They're no longer in business. They were the makers of the Gravity Light and the Now Light, but I still have the Now Light. I love it. I charge it via the solar panel, and I still charge it via using their pull mechanism. It gives a great job with their light there, as well as one of their satellites that's really above me, throwing off some awesome light. Other thing that I have right here, and I love these, is right, you see it here. This is like just some basic fairy lights. I'm more than happy to put that in the comments below off Amazon. They're usually about $6.99 for a 2-pack USB powered. About a half a watt is what they run an hour. So I can run these off my EcoFlow easily. I could run them off of my any of my power packs that I have, the Rad Power packs, and my Blue Eddy, whichever I have. I like to keep those on my EcoFlow Delta and be able to operate it via the app. So if I'm in the house and I'm about to come out to the shed, I love to put these on because it just gives that nice ambient light to be able to come into the shed and get some things done as I'm going. So that's pretty much what we do. The first genesis of what I do with the shed, honestly, was using like I have a little what I call tower space heater. And I'll tell you the problem with that is it was fine, but one of those ceramic heaters that are tower, 1500 watts, and it just would eat through the battery so quick and really didn't give that nice heat. That's why, thanks to Jeff for getting this hydronic heater to me, it's perfect for this space. It gives off that nice continuous heat. It heats up pretty well. And as long as I kind of get it up and going, I can shut it down for maybe a half hour, 2 hours, and then start it up again to get some heat going. And it will heat up fairly quickly because I haven't let the oil that's inside of it get too cold as we sit here. And if I want to just boost it a little bit more quickly, that's when I'll use the Wave 2 here to be able to get things going. Because once it's up to 40 or 50 degrees, I set it to 73. I can look at the outlet temperature, gets all the way up to 101 degrees. I put the fan on low and utilize that to be able to get this going. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. I know a lot of times people, since we're an audio only podcast, they want to be able to like, well, how does this work? What do you guys do? So this is one venue that I utilize. I don't utilize the shed all the time to do recordings, but sometimes I'll be in my office in the basement, which is right near where the house's heater is. So I do use that to be able to get things nice and warm as I go. So hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you have a great week. And as we always say on the show, hopefully you stay fully charged or at least 80%. Take care.